Good evening. I am Mboya. Welcome to Prime Edition. We begin this live broadcast with our lead stories.
The teams are actually going to synchronize the agenda
to brief them on what our expectations as a team are.
Legalizing the dialogue team. A motion seeks formalization of the Kalonzo and Ichung'wah-led bipartisan talks on its way to Parliament. 28th of August is the date. The 7th Supreme Court judge bench to direct on the Finance Act case in 2 weeks' time. Economies of scale, technical and vocational education training institutions to share training facilities with teachers training colleges. Brian Mararu is our sign language interpreter. Our socials at KBC Channel 1 and my Twitter handle at Mboya24. There is a looming showdown at the floor of the august House, with the bipartisan talks expected to make their way to the floor of the House. This is after a 10-member team led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah agreed to table a motion before the Senate and the National Assembly to formally legalize the dialogue team. As Abdiaziz Hashim reports, the technical committee for both political factions are yet to come up with the agenda of the talks.
The talks between the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya and Kenya Kwanza coalitions resumed today, with both political parties yet to come up with the agenda for the said meeting. The chairs, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, both stating that they have different issues that need to be harmonized before they can start the talks.
The teams are actually going to synchronize the agenda. And I'd started by saying, as far as Azimio la Umoja One Kenya is concerned, our teams have been ready. But I think that our friends are also now ready, and we want them to engage so that they can look. As you remember, both sides had their set of agendas, and it's important they get synchronized. And that we leave to the technical team to be able to provide the way forward. Once that is agreed, I think we'll be on our way.
Beginning with an introduction of our two technical teams from both the Kenya Kwanza Coalition and the Azimio One Kenya Alliance, whom we have just introduced. And this is a team that will be backing us up in the dialogue team. We shall be briefing them as much as we have individually briefed our teams. We now want to brief them on what our expectations as a team are, to help us realize the objectives that we have out of this dialogue team in the quickest time possible.
The Azimio wing keen on ensuring the cost of living, inclusivity and addressing police brutality during the 3 cycles of the anti-government demonstration is included, with the ruling Kenya Kwanza Alliance maintaining that the said matters will not be up for discussion.
We have also indicated that we are here to engage in good faith, in line with our laws and our constitution. And we want to believe we are all here in the interest of the Kenyan people and the Kenyan state. And therefore, we shall be engaging in that dialogue process, which now formally begins.
A matter that we actually canvassed briefly last time, because like you, other interested Kenyans felt they could present memorandum. It's an issue for us to discuss as a team and then let you know the way forward. Thank you.
To this effect, the bipartisan team has tasked Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi to process a motion to legally establish the 10-member dialogue committee on the floor of the House. Both leaders have been instructed to ensure that the motion passes before the legislators by the end of this week, as the Senate is on recess, but the leadership has been tasked to process the same through a special sitting in the coming days. The talks will resume next Monday. It remains to be seen whether the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya as well as the Kenya Kwanza coalition will agree on the agenda of that particular talks in the coming days. Abdiaziz Hashim from Bomas of Kenya, Prime Edition.
And of course, we'll be following that for you now. Over to health. The Ministry of Health will continue to prioritize reforms of the National Health Insurance Fund. This is according to the Health Cabinet Secretary, Susan Nakumicha, who was speaking during the launch of the health facility census right here in Nairobi. The CS says reforms at the insurance fund will be a game changer in the health sector. Timothy Kipnusu reports.
The Ministry of Health, in partnership with county governments and health stakeholders, launched the health facility census across the country. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha, while launching the initiative, said the exercise will be carried out in all public, private and faith-based health facilities to assess and classify health facilities based on their service delivery efficiencies, with the aim of improving the quality of healthcare services offered in the country.
And we do not want, when people are referred to health facilities, they find facilities not ready to offer services. So this health assessment is going to tell us what are the gaps that we need to fill. Gaps in infrastructure, gaps in equipment, gaps in HRH.
She said the data and findings collected by the community health promoters will guide the Ministry of Health in identifying areas for improvement.
We have kitted them. Equally, we have given them gadgets because we are living in a time of technology.
And we want to assure you that we are relying on the trust that we have for you to give us the very best information that you'll find in the field.
She said health financing will play a key role in reforming the National Health and Insurance Fund,
because that is the institution that has the responsibility of ensuring that health financing goes to the targeted population.
Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki lauded the Ministry of Health for initiatives to transform the health sector, saying counties are ready to offer the services. He also called on the Ministry of Health to address the shortage of health personnel in the country.
Shortage of doctors, shortage of health personnel that counties can only afford. It's only that when you're devolving them, I would request that you fully devolve them, because sometimes we have gaps when you devolve to us. Officers who still answer to the ministry, they are usually lost in between. You're looking for them and they say that we are in the ministry.
The health facility census will be key in assessing infrastructure, personnel and the quality of health services. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
The National Peace Council is now calling on West Africa political leaders and the international community to engage in an amicable and peaceful dialogue to address the looming crisis in Niger. Speaking at the International College of Peace Studies in Karen, here in Nairobi, Kenya, the council chair, Dr. Kennedy Waningu, noted that the organization is ready to encourage conflict resolution in a bid to curb humanitarian crisis that he said could affect the African region. He, at the same time, lauded efforts by ECOWAS leaders to their commitment towards restoring peace in Niger.
We would like to call for dialogue and conflict resolution in West Africa countries, especially Niger. It is important that we don't harden our lines. Let's come to a place of agreement, conflict resolution, observing the principles of humanity.
The stakeholders, especially the peace ambassadors, could move in to find amicable solutions to solve the peace, the crisis in West Africa, and bring forth the peace for the people of Niger, the people of Africa, and the world at large.
The media fraternity has been challenged to play a leading role in creating awareness of the effects of climate change, especially on vulnerable communities. Environmental officials say that the media will be adequately furnished with information during the upcoming Africa Climate Summit to be able to effectively inform the public. The Ministry of Environment also says that it will elevate the conversation of climate financing by putting in place the framework that will attract major investment.
Media houses have been urged to be at the fore in creating awareness among Kenyans on the causes and effects of climate change and educate them on possible mitigation. This came up during deliberations held by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry and the Kenya Editors Guild, meant to come up with the effective ways of communicating and educating the public on climate change. Environmental Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya noted that effective climate communication is integral in the fight against the climate crisis, terming the media as a powerful linkage between Kenyans and implementable solutions.
The media can play an integral role in shaping public opinion and create a ripple effect by influencing behavior and attitudes, spreading awareness, and shaping knowledge about climate change.
We are providing the space for those very detailed, specialized discussions and an opportunity to then engage in a very complete and holistic way into the overall summit.
She noted that the media can be used to educate the masses, noting the journalist will be accorded the opportunity to be at the center of creating solutions to climate change and effectively communicating the same to the public.
As Kenya and the AU, we intend that the summit provides a medium where we start climate change-related conversations driven from and with an African lens.
Event issue for the media, we want you to do the expression of interest. It is open, and we are working closely with the event manager to make sure that that is facilitated.
The CS noted that they will elevate the conversations of climate financing by putting in place a framework that would attract investment opportunities. Soipan saying the debt distress facing Africa is a huge impediment, and Kenya will be proposing a different structure of climate financing that will not only deal with repaying debt and damages but also build Kenya's economy.
Leveraging on her immense resources, as has been stated here by the CEO, putting in place frameworks and mechanisms that would attract capital to steer this process as we decarbonize and fight climate change.
As the preparation for the African Climate Summit continues, media has been put in the mid of disseminating information and helping create change. For KBC Channel 1, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, the bond between Kenya and China has grown over the years due to a number of reasons, including cultural exchange. Speaking during the launch of the Swahili edition of the Governance of China at the University of Nairobi, Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Penina Malonza said that the book will boost both tourism and understanding between the two countries. Pauline Nasimiu reports.
Director Paul Kibet.
At the University of Nairobi, the launch ceremony for the Swahili edition of the book, The Governance of China by President Xi Jinping, is underway. The book entails the success story of China and its development path. Tourism Cabinet Secretary Penina Malonza, who graced the occasion, said the bond between Kenya and China has grown due to cultural exchange.
It is through such exchanges that we discover our shared humanity, transcending geographical boundaries to celebrate the many shades of human expression.
Chinese ambassador to Kenya Zhang Jinjiang said his government is keen in deepening mutual understanding and share experience on governance in a bid to promote China-Kenya friendship and cooperation.
It will give our Kenyan friends a better understanding of the Chinese government's philosophy and its domestic and foreign policies, of the development path China has chosen.
On his part, the Director of Secondary Education, Paul Kibet, who represented the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Ezekiel Machogu, said Kenya can borrow immensely from President Xi Jinping's writing works.
Our country can easily borrow from the programs undertaken, including how People's Republic of China has been able to achieve better and fairer education for millions of its citizens.
The book, The Governance of China, has been distributed to more than 180 countries in 37 languages.
This book will not only build a better understanding of the Chinese culture, but also serves as an inspiration in pursuit to independent modernization. Pauline Nasimi for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Thousands of delegates expected to convene in Eldoret, that's in Uasin Gishu County. We will be telling you why when we come back from this fast break. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the biggest event of the year? The Council of Governors and its partners present the Devolution Conference 2023, happening from 15th to 19th August in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. The theme of the conference is 10 years of devolution, the present and the future, and the sub-theme, driving transformation from the local level, county governments at the center of economic development. Over the years, we've brought together local and international delegates to discuss best practices and strategies to foster improved service delivery in devolved sectors and further drive change in subnational governments. The sectors to be covered include healthcare, agriculture, trade development and industrialization, blue economy, natural resource management, affordable housing, the digital economy and integration of technology, youth empowerment and affirmative action, among others. Engage in thought-provoking discussions during breakout sessions addressing key challenges and emerging issues on devolution. Don't miss the prestigious Devolution Warrior Awards, honoring individuals and institutions that champion and defend devolution in Kenya. This event will be officially opened by His Excellency Dr. William Ruto on the 16th of August 2023. The conference will be live on KBC Channel 1. To participate, register today on conference.cog.go.ke.
Cheza Loto Moto. Sasa unaweza jishindia instantly na Loto Moto. Dial star 570 hash. Wakati wowote, siku yoyote ya wiki na mahali popote. Dial star 570 hash. Kisha chagua moja kati ya games za Loto Moto. Weka stakes zako 50 shillings, 300, 500, 2,000 shillings. The bigger your stake, the greater or the bigger your prizes. Cheza mara kadhaa na kumbuka, cheza responsibly. 18 years and above. Cheza Loto Moto.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened. Bah!
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do.
Welcome back. Our socials at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Mboya. Now, the controversial WorldCoin registration exercise that found its way in Parliament has now been brought to the attention of the courts. The Office of Data Protection has sought the court's intervention on the matter, claiming that WorldCoin might erase and modify personal data mined from Kenyans during the project. The development comes as the Supreme Court sets 28th of this month as the date to give its direction in a case in which Okia Omtata is challenging its implementation. Details in the Skills of Justice segment.
The Office of the Data Protection says the processing of the personal data through WorldCoin project does not adhere to the principles of data protection as set out in the Section 25 of the Act. In an affidavit, the office says that having reviewed the WorldCoin project operations in the country, they are satisfied that it is not safe for Kenyans, adding that they are still doing its investigations. The Commission now seeks preservation orders from the court, and the Supreme Court will give its direction on the Finance Act case on 28 August 2023. A 7-judge bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome has since ordered Omtata to serve the National Treasury. A 7-judge bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome has since ordered Omtata to serve the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Njuguna Ndung'u, and 10 others with the notice of appeal. In the petition, Omtata and co-petitioners want the Supreme Court to reverse the Court of Appeal's decision to reinstate the conservatory orders of the High Court, among other, pending the hearing and determination of the suit. In a release by the Supreme Court Monday, the Deputy Registrar Bernard Kasavuli said the case will be mentioned virtually within 2 weeks from now. Elsewhere, Operation Linda Gatuzi has filed a petition at the High Court challenging the constitutionality of the Cabinet on two-third gender rule.
Composition of Cabinet of Republic of Kenya for failing to comply with the constitutional dictates on gender balance, inclusion of persons with disability and the youth.
The petitioners argue that the Cabinet does not meet the threshold in terms of gender parity, PWDs, among others. They have also challenged the illegality of the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, saying it goes against the 2010 Constitution.
To assist the President and the Deputy President in the day-to-day running of the government is akin to creating a second office of Deputy President who by law is only the principal assistant to the President, who is Rigathi Gachagua.
Ruth Huamboy for Prime Edition.
Technical, vocational and education training. TVET's institutions will share training equipment with teacher training institutions located in the same geographical area. Principal Secretary for TVET's, Esther Mworia, said that the Ministry of Education, through her department, will soon map out all the TVETs and teaching training institutions that are located within the same area. Why? To implement that directive. These and more stories are in our county news roundup.
Do you have anything you wish?
Addressing teachers in Mombasa County during the official opening of a 4-day annual conference for members of the Kenya Teachers Colleges Principal Association, the Principal Secretary for TVET said sharing resources between TVETs and teacher training institutions aims to help teachers acquire technical skills to implement the new competency-based curriculum.
We want to industrialize this country. This country is going to industrialize if we have technical skills being upskilled, being upstaged, as opposed to the theories.
2, 3. Meanwhile, in Narok County, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has revealed that the country is facing water crisis due to rampant deforestation, pollution, and climate change. Cabinet Secretary for Water Alice Wahome, speaking in Narok, supported the initiative by the head of state of planting 15 billion trees to control the crisis.
And see lake waters are rising, and these are all issues that are beginning to converge, and if we are not careful as human beings and we start reversing the challenges, we could be caught up in a very, very serious situation.
Also in Imenti Central Constituency, Meru County, the area MP Moses Kirima, his counterparts from Tigania West, Dr. John Mutunga, has called upon parents to take their children to school, noting education is the biggest equalizer.
Unataka kuwekeza mahali ambapo ni mahali pako mwenyewe. Unaweza sema unataka kuwa individualistic ama unataka kuwa unajipenda. Lakini kama unataka kuwekeza mahali ambapo uko sure ni yako, soma.
And St. Anne's Girls Mumias head teacher Cyrilla Sanya has urged the government to increase funds allocated to schools in order to curb challenges facing learning institutions as they adapt to the new learning system.
Looking at our compound,
We are even talking of maybe demolishing some classes and going upwards. But where are the funds? Yeah, because we do not have actually a place that will say we'll have to put up a classroom.
Finally, Matatu Owners Association Chairman Albert Karagacha has urged PSV drivers to ensure safety on the roads and dismiss attempts by the government to regulate the fares. They argue the industry is self-regulating.
Mambo ya bus fare wataangalia, lakini watu waweze kuelewa kuwa mafuta imepanda, tutalipisha kulingana na vile vitu zimepanda juu, lakini make sure that tunaangalia moderate, hatutakuwa ile ya kuumiza watu.
Brandon Som, reporting for Prime Edition.
Thousands of delegates are expected to convene in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, for the annual Devolution Conference. The convention, themed 10 years of devolution, the present and the future, will set the stage to relook at the devolution journey. Governors, senators, members of the county assembly, as well as representatives from the national government led by President William Ruto, will sift through the gains, the challenges, and unexplored opportunities over the next 5 years. Irene Muchuma Odim with the highlights of the conference agenda.
All roads will lead to Eldoret in Uasin Gishu County for the 5-day devolution conference, in which at least 10,000 delegates are expected. The devolution conference, set to run from 15th to 19th of August 2023, brings together local and international delegates to exchange best practices and provide trade and investment opportunities for communities. Uasin Gishu becomes the 8th county to host the conference after Kwale, Kisumu, Meru, Nakuru, Kakamega, Kirinyaga, and Makueni counties. It will also be the first time President William Ruto will officiate the start of the conference since his election into office last August. In the conference to-do lists, delegates will officially arrive on Tuesday. Pre-conference activities are scheduled for Tuesday, which includes physical games such as football match, athletics, and tug of war. Wednesday will mark the official opening by President William Ruto. The president is expected to commemorate the tree growing initiative on arrival. The focus of the discussions on Wednesday will center on assessing and proposing measures that county governments can adopt to enhance transformative service delivery for improved livelihoods. The delegates are Thursday expected to examine the benefits of adopting technology and digitalization and strategies for promoting innovation and the digital transformation in the devolved context. Delegates will also discuss methodologies to fund devolution for improved service delivery. On Friday, curtains will fall on the conference, with participants examining good governance for equitable and sustainable development, as well as examine strides made in affirmative action before the co-chairs of the devolution conference steering committee issue a joint communique on the resolutions. Irene Mchuma Odim, the Prime Edition.
Of course, the delegates will sit for the next 5 days and not 5 years, as I mentioned there. Now, the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigade, has launched a wellness and rehabilitation boy-child camp at Jamhuri Showground in Nairobi County. The launch follows a successful screening of the addicts in various parts of Nairobi who, by the way, voluntarily agreed to be rehabilitated. Some of the addicts with severe cases have been taken to a rehabilitation center in Limuru, while those with less severe cases will camp at the Jamhuri grounds for 1 month while receiving treatment. Speaking during the launch, Pastor Dorcas called on the society to embrace the addicts and treat them as part of the society. The program is in line with her boy-child rehabilitation agenda. The first cohort of rehabilitated young men who have been undergoing rehabilitation in Timau, Meru County, under her office, is set to graduate inside a couple of days. It's in a few weeks' time.
Community-based rehabilitation is an internationally accepted practice in rehabilitation that encourages the involvement of community in the rehabilitation process and the easier reintegration of those who are in drugs and who get treated.
Kazi ambayo tutaendeleza tukishirikiana na Her Excellency Mama Dorcas mpaka tuhakikishe kila mmoja wenu ameweza kujifanyia kazi yake, anaweza kuendesha biashara yake ama kuinua familia yake ndio waweze kuendelea.
Sasa mimi naomba madhe, sababu hii show inaanza tarehe 25. Vijana utupatie kazi tufagie show. Tunaomba hiyo kazi tuweze kungarisha show, tuweze kupata kazi. Itamwizi raia nayo inanita chokosh, niende wapi ama niende wapi?
Isaac Edwin Omolo Okero served in various ministries in the Jomo Kenyatta administration and later on in President Moi's government as a Minister for Power and Communications. This week on the cabinet, we focus on Omolo Okero, who served as a minister for 10 years from 1969.
In 1950, Isaac Edwin Omolo Okero joined Makerere University College. In 1953, Okero got a scholarship from the Indian High Commission to study law at the University of Bombay, from where he graduated with honors in 1956. The same year, he landed a job as Associate Secretary to the International Students Organization in Leiden, the Netherlands, where he worked until 1959. In 1962, the colonial government appointed him to the Attorney General's office in Nairobi as a state counsel. He served as a deputy public prosecutor between 1963 and 1965, and thereafter as Commissioner General of Customs and Excise from 1965 to 1969 at the headquarters in Mombasa. He had a relatively successful political career between 1969 and 1979 as a cabinet minister and as a member of parliament for Gem constituency in Nyanza province. Between 1969 to 1978, he worked in various ministries under President Jomo Kenyatta. In 1969 to 1973, he served as Minister for Health, while 1973 to 1977, he headed the Power and Communications docket. In 1977, Okero headed the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting for a year. After Kenyatta died and Moi took over the following year, Okero was redeployed to the Ministry of Power and Communications for his final term under the Moi administration. From 1978 to 1979, he served as ruling party KANU National Chairman. He lost his game seat in the 1979 polls to Agri Otieno Ambala. From 1996 to 2005, he served as the chairman of the board of Kenya Airways. This was during the turbulent years of implementing the privatization program when the national airline teamed up with Royal Dutch Airline as a privatized entity and finally started to make profits. Okero is remembered for the establishment of Siaya District Hospital and the realization of rural electrification in Yala and Siaya District. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
What's in your kitchen? A show that celebrates Kenyan and African dishes.
Rusha. Wait. Be careful.
Yes, because I've seen some fire jump there.
That is called flambéing.
Flambéing. So tukiona moto tujue ni flambéing. Crushed methi seeds. Kila siku soma kitu mpya. Mchele yetu iko sawa. Hii iko sawa. Tumalize.
Sasa ni kwenda tukule.
Napima.
Hii ni chakula mzuri sana.
Nzito kabisa.
Salivate this delicious meal on your screen while taking notes for the recipe. Don't miss what's in your kitchen on KBC.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wamekama up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Comarox, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
Cheza Loto Moto. Sasa unaweza jishindia instantly na Loto Moto. Dial *570# wakati wowote, siku yoyote ya wiki na mahali popote. Dial *570#. Kisha chagua moja kati ya games za Loto Moto. Weka stakes zako 50 shillings, 300, 500, 2,000 shillings. The bigger your stake, the greater or the bigger your prizes. Cheza mara kadhaa na kumbuka, cheza responsibly. 18 years and above.
Cheza Loto Moto. Estaré contigo.
The money of the Oteros is the last thing I'm interested in.
Is there anything you want to tell me? You can speak in total honesty.
Don't you think I would find out about everything that happens under my roof?
I'm sorry, madam. I was there because your son...
Oh, yes, I do know my son.
What? Am I the only one who notices what's going on? Danielle, this is not the time to... Wait a moment, no. Be careful with what you're doing, okay? Isabel doesn't deserve to be cheated on.
Live from Broadcasting House, Nairobi, Kenya. This is KBC English Service.
Welcome to Beat Time Show, the very best of the 80s and 90s with John Korani, JK.
Timeless music hits across the decades.
This is the place to be after you've had a tough day. Join the Sundowner group on Facebook.
Don't believe me, just watch.
The sound of KBC English Service.
I'm the host Caroline Wangishi, Carol Gatata Moshero.
My name is Geoffrey Mongai.
News, information and entertainment. KBC English Service, Kenya's official national radio.
Very well, welcome back. Now it's time to, well, that was a moment. Sometimes we have those moments right here in the studio. And I can see Betty smiling. Betty, what do you have for us in the day's business?
Well,
does it happen to you?
Yes, it happens.
Oh, really?
All
Oh, no,
yeah,
my
so,
goodness.
yeah,
it's
very
okay.
normal.
It just confirms that we're human.
Indeed, we are human. Time now to get the latest in the world of business. Thank you, Tom. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, business at the port of Mombasa jumped by 3.3% in the first 6 6 months of this year, driven by cargo turnaround time and the expanded cargo capacity at the facility. The Kenya Ports Authority says from January to June 2023, the port handled 18 million tons of cargo from 17.5 million tons in the first half of 2022. KPA says cargo container traffic surged by 8% in the period to June this year.
The Kenya Ports Authority says in the first 6 months of this year, transit traffic increased by 216,985 tons to record 5.41 million tons against 5.19 million tons handled in the same period in 2022. Major growth markets were South Sudan and DRC, which recorded a growth of 394,548 tons or 72.4% and 368,105 tons or 89.8% respectively.
Cargo handling surged from 17.48 million tons handling in 2022 to an impressive 18.06 million tons this year, marking a robust 3.3% increase.
In order to grow its regional business, the port is targeting a piece of the lucrative DRC Congo market by opening a liaison office in the landlocked country.
Sisi tuko kipaumbele kuhakikisha kwamba poti ya Mombasa inaendelea kuwa port yenye ina sifa na iko na uwezo ya kufanya biashara katika nchi ya Afrika, ikuwe competitive kwa Afrika nzima.
The port's operator is also in the process of modernizing its infrastructure to cut operational costs. The plans involve decommissioning phased-out equipment estimated to have served at the port of Mombasa for 19 years. So far, the Kenya Ports Authority has commissioned 4 ship-to-shore cranes with a hoisting speed of 80 meters per minute.
The acceleration of speed is a reflection of our pursuit of excellence, on our unwavering commitment to minimizing downtime, and of our dedication to serving the needs of global trade with precision.
To increase business at the port of Lamu, the authority is in the process of installing 3 additional ship-to-shore cranes to complement the existing system. Juni Karisambele from Mombasa County.
Now, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi was at pains to explain why a private entity still had a controlling stake of Miwani Sugar Factory, despite the government purchasing all shares 16 years ago. National Assembly Public Investment Committee was baffled that despite the factory not crushing any cane for 23 years, employees have continued receiving salaries.
Documents presented to Parliament by the Miwani Sugar Factory management show that the national government held only 49% stake of the miller. The National Assembly's Public Investment Committee queried the ownership of the miller, as documents from the National Treasury indicated that the government bought back all shares of the troubled miller in 2007.
Any documentation you can table to confirm payment of the Vanessa shares, so that Vanessa was supposed to exit in 2007.
And some of the resolutions that were made in this particular meeting was to hand over the documents or transfer various instruments to the Kenya Sugar Board, and one of which is the title is making reference to the original share certificate number 2 for 1,071 shares.
I asked you that question after reading your annexes, and you said clearly that Miwani Sugar, as we talk today, the shareholding belongs to the government, the land belongs to the government. Well, those were your responses. Am I right?
The ownership puzzle, according to the legislators, shielded the miller's books from being audited by the Auditor General as required by the law for 20 years.
From the current receivership, we checked the records. Previous audit were not being done by the Auditor General. And that's a fact. And that's why I'm saying some of these facts may require discussion in camera.
The management affirmed that the 10,000 piece of land at the center of the ownership wrangle is also being transferred to the national government.
As we are talking now, the title deed which was in their custody is now within our custody, both for the nucleus and where the factory.
Miwani management defended its payroll, saying the factory was still in operation despite not crushing any cane for 23 years. Miwani Sugar Factory is among the 5 state-owned sugar companies that the government is seeking approval from the National Assembly to waive levies and taxes amounting to 116 billion shillings.
It is our business to ensure our house in order as a country, be able to produce enough from our local demand.
Linturi says the waiver is crucial in the leasing process and part of measures that will be instituted before handing over the mills to private investors. Benson Droba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, the distribution of 17 tons of biotech cotton seeds has begun in Busia County, targeting 12,000 farmers in the pilot phase. The first harvest of the BT cotton planting program, which is being implemented under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, is expected in 6 months, where the target is to double the current yield per acre from 400 kilograms to 800 kilograms. The seeds are being distributed to farmers free of charge through cooperative societies, which have also signed a contract with Rivertex East Africa to offtake all their cotton after harvesting.
Mbegu ambayo tumepewa leo ya pamba itatusaidia kwa sababu ukulima wa pamba imekuwa hapo zamani na ilikuwa imefifia kwa sababu hatukuwa tunapata mbegu. Na kwa sasa vile tumepata mbegu, hiyo ukulima inaenda kuendelea vizuri na wakulima wanaenda kuwa wengi.
Kilimo cha pamba ndio kimekuwa utu wa mgongo katika maisha yetu ya Busia as a whole, na katika economical transformation. Hii ndio ya muhimu sana katika kusimamia economical transformation katika Busia County.
Ilikuwa ngumu sana kuconvince mkulima pamba anunue hiyo mbegu at a cost of 3,000 shillings alafu na apande. Sasa vile tumepewa free, tumefurahia sisi sana kama wakulima.
We decided to change or transform cooperatives into multi-value chain so that on different seasons we have the cooperative running on different value chains. The 11 ward cooperatives have registered their members who have agreed to plant cotton.
Mama ama mzee ama kijana wakipanda hiyo pamba, wakivuna, unajua itakuwa ni pesa tayari mfukoni. Kuliko mtu kukaa na hana tegemeo penye anategemea. Na hiyo sasa ukulima wa pamba wa mama anataka sana, hata wa mama mzee anataka hiyo mbegu.
Sasa Mheshimiwa Rais Ruto vile amekuja na mpango huu, hatuna budi kumuunga mkono kwa dhati kabisa 100%, kwa sababu yeye ameweza kutimiza ndoto yetu.
We do an agreement with the farmer, the GINA, and ourselves. So there will be 3 parties involved. With the arrangement with the cooperative bank, they will pay the farmer, and at the same time they will pay the lean cotton. And then they will give us a payment period, of which in this case we have agreed 60 to 90 days to pay.
When they join the ward cooperative, they will be able to access first inputs. The subsidized fertilizer will come through the ward cooperative. Number 2, they'll be able to access the medical cover. It will be done through the cooperative because they are supplying their products through the cooperative. The cooperative can do an upfront payment for them.
Currently we are running the factory at 47-50%, just because we are importing cotton. For us now to step in, to be involved in cotton growing is a big step for us, because it definitely will make sure, first of all, we have sustainability of raw material, which is cotton. At the same time, our prices will be competitive locally.
Tumesema ya kwamba tukienda mbele tunataka kuweka mazao la pamba nguvu mpya, tuwe na mbegu mpya ambayo inaitwa BT cotton.
Mtu kama huyo tena ni nani? Nashukuru sana Rais Ruto kwa vile ameona ukulima wa pamba huku upande wa Western imekuwa kitu ya muhimu na inaweza kuinua jamii kwa jumla, hata watoto shuleni wataendelea kusoma.
Vile aliahidi, alionyesha kwamba yuko na mahasla, na sisi kama wakulima tuko na yeye, kwa maana tumeona kwamba yeye sio mtu wa kusema uongo kulingana na vile watu walikuwa nafikiria. Tuachukua kofia na tunapigia asante kwa njia kipekee.
Hakika alituahidi kwamba anapoenda atainua watu wa chini. Na watu wa chini unajua ni sisi kama walimaji. Na sasa amejitahidi, ameamua na tupatia mbegu. Sisi tunamshukuru tu sana.
Now, the construction of a modern Isiolo Meat City Special Economic Zone is expected to start soon. The multi-billion shilling facility is meant to transform the economy of northern Kenya. Isiolo County Trade Executive Lawrence Mongela says the integrated industrial complex spanning over 500,000 acres will also include animal feedstock zones, abattoirs, a leather park and a bioenergy plant. Our reporter Frederick Moki has more details.
Plans to construct an industrial meat complex in the northern Kenya has been on card for a long time now, with the plans facing major delays due to lack of funds and bureaucracy. The Isiolo Meat City Special Economic Zone will have a capacity of slaughtering 10,000 cows, 15,000 goats and sheep, and 5,000 camels a day.
Kama ngozi ingekuwa na market, at least hiyo ngozi at the end of the day unaweza kuta akona kakitu anafichwa kwa mwisho wa mwezi anapata kakitu kanaweza mlipia nyumba.
Isiolo County Trade Executive Lawrence Mongela says the government has already secured a reliable market for the abattoirs, meat and meat products in Europe, China and the Middle East countries.
We are telling the youth and also even other industry players, and more so the people who are keeping camel to produce a lot of milk, because camel milk is quite unique in the area. It gives us a comparative advantage. And also there is nyeri, which is going to be processed in this county agricultural industrial park.
Isiolo County government has launched a campaign encouraging livestock keepers to explore and invest in modern meat processing technologies in a bid to enhance the efficiency of meat processing, reduce waste and adopt more environmentally friendly practices.
There will be more income, there will be more money in their pockets, and that is good. And that money can be brought back for them to expand the livestock industry.
As the government continues stepping up efforts of addressing unemployment from the grassroots levels, residents of Mshabura in Isiolo County believe that the proposed county aggregation industrial parks will play a vital role in helping to address the gaps facing the sector, which will help reduce the rate of dependency and therefore revitalize Kenya's economy. Reporting for Prime Edition from Isiolo County, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Thank you very much, Fred Mwoki. Of course, that is the last story we had for you on the business news this evening. Sports news is coming up after a quick break with Bernard Okumu. My name is Betty Kiptum. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.
Shamsa mke wa Zito. Zito linaniambia kuwa hana mke, mimi sitaki kujua.
Kiza Jamal. Shamsa is my wife. Achana naye. Sawa.
Zito kufa kuzikana.
Zuri. Zuri umefanya Zuri.
Yawi hayawi mwishowe huwa. Kituo chako unachokienzi cha Minto FM kinatimiza miaka 12 tangu kilipoanza. Ili kuadhimisha siku hii, tunawaalika mashabiki wetu kujumuika nasi katika msururu wa roadshow utakaofanyika ndani ya kaunti ya Nyamira. Kutakuwa na burudani na vichekesho. Alhamisi tarehe 17 mwezi huu wa Agosti, msafara wa Minto FM utaanzia Kijauri, Keroka, Rigoma, Kemera, Kebirigo na kumalizia siku Nyaramba. Ijumaa tarehe 18, msafara huu utaanzia Ekerenyo, Ikonge, Nyamusi, Mawawa, Miruka, Nyamaya na kumalizia Nyabite. Jumamosi tarehe 19 tutatamatisha maadhimisho yetu kwa ibada ya shukrani katika kanisa la Nyamira Central SDA kuanzia saa 3 asubuhi. Njoo ukutane na watangazaji wako unaowaenzi. Minto ata 12 Gusi Neyaito.
She hasn't just taken this title, she's absolutely obliterated the whole field. 3:52.96.
It's a big stage, big names and big expectations. An immersive celebration of athleticism. More than 2,000 athletes from over 200 countries will compete in 49 events. Drawing inspiration from past memorable outings, Team Kenya is looking ahead for a remarkable feat in the forthcoming World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary in Central Europe. Witness the wonders from Budapest, Hungary on 19th through to the 27th of August, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Thank you for joining us. It's time for sports. I'm Bernard Okumu, and the unidentified talented sportsmen and women in the country will have the chance to showcase and monetize their ability following the opening of the Kenya National Sports Camp at the Kasarani Stadium by Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba. It is Kenya's first ever national sports camp that will be an avenue for scouts to tap the growing sporting talent in the country.
Cabinet Secretary for Sports Ababu Namwamba officially opened the first national sports camp for talented sportsmen and women at the Kasarani Stadium, with 267 million shillings being pumped in the project.
I am very proud to stand here and say that the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Arts and Sports, through our Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, has prioritized the development of talents in this schooling ecosystem. And that is why this year we have proudly provided 267 million Kenya shillings to support the entire ecosystem of talent in the school ecosystem.
CS Namwamba revealed that the National Holiday Sports Camp has been put up to nurture and shape up the rising talents among the youths.
This camp is the culmination of a very deliberate, very intentional, a very structured process. You will receive elite training from some of the best coaches across the various disciplines.
While opening the camp, talented athletes who had participated in the primary and secondary national ball games, which ended last week, were presented. Alvin Kasavuli, Amos Emalo, and Kibet Kipchirchir, who performed greatly during the competitions, got international football scholarships. Joy Nabwile, Prime Edition.
And the Kenya National Athletics team for the 2023 World Athletics Championships will leave the country tonight for Budapest ahead of the global event set to be held from the 19th to 27th of this month in Hungary. Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba flagged the team last week.
Double world and Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon and Diamond League winner Nicholas Kimeli are part of the 54-member team that will represent Kenya at the World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary. Africa's fastest man Ferdinand Omanyala will be Kenya's sole representative in the men's 100 meters and intends to be the first African to win a gold medal at the global showpiece. Faith Kipyegon, meanwhile, will be competing in the 1500 meters with the hope of retaining her world title just after breaking the world record in the same event in June. She will enjoy the company of youngster Nelly Chepchirchir, World Under-20 champion Brenda Chebet and Edina Jebitok. The team has been in a 3-week residential training camp at the Kasarani Stadium, and the first batch of the team leaves for Budapest tonight. Kenya hopes to better their previous outing in Oregon last year, when they collected a total of 10 medals, 2 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze medals.
And to soccer now, the recently crowned National Super League champion Shabana have landed a 20 million shillings sponsorship from BankBet ahead of the 2023-2024 Kenya Premier League season. The KC Best team is back in the top flight league after a 17-year absence.
Shabana FC have received a 20 million shilling sponsorship from betting firm BankBet just 2 weeks before the 2023-2024 FKF Premier League season kicks off. The partnership will see BankBet provide both playing and training kits for the KC-based team for the entire season.
Shabana was away from the Premier League, 17 years away from the Premier League. It's always been a big club with big support, the pride of the region. And for us, it was a no-brainer to support Shabana.
Kisii Governor Simba Arati assured the club that the ongoing renovations at Gusii Stadium will be completed in time as the venue is said to be the official match and training venue for the team.
I opened that stadium for the Shabana to play at home. And I'm sure that was one of the things which made them to improve in performance. Yes. Because they had home-based fan support.
Shabana will be the third community club competing in the 2023-2024 FKF Premier League after Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards, and are set to host Murang'a Seal in the opening fixture on 27th of this month before visiting Talanta FC.
You see, any person who goes to the battle, you don't go to a battle to lose, you go to a battle to win. So the sponsor, of course, has put a target, and I think where we are, I can't talk about the first leg, but by the second leg we shall be able to achieve our target.
And the KBC Sports Academy Club has organized a 2-week cricket training event at Islay High School grounds with the aim of keeping students busy during the August holiday. The age group in the camp include the under-10, under-15 and under-19. The aim of the cricket training camp is to develop the game, also discover talents and keep the students away from social ills. The training works on strength, agility, bowling and fielding. Now the teams in camp comprised of boys and girls from KBC Club, Parklands, Oshol and Majengo. The academy club also facilitates the players who are coming for the training.
And I'll start these kids young so that they get interested at a younger age. And also for us is to keep them off vices so that they don't full time on social media.
Tangu nianze kucheza cricket, nimegenerate more skills kwa cricket, na pia cricket inakusaidia kwa fitness na inakusaidia kwa health yako.
We got like 3 groups carrying on. We got from 8 and below, we got 8 and above, we got 15 and above. So we got 3 sessions. We got enough coaches here to help these kids to be better cricketers of tomorrow.
Kit on today's edition of Sports. Back to Mboya for the remaining beat of the prime edition today.
Thank you very much. Bernardo Kuma there with the latest in the world of sports. Of course, Betty Kiptum was there earlier giving us the latest in the world of business. I want to thank also Brian Mwararu, who has been in charge of our sign language docket. My name is Mboya, wishing you a good night from Nairobi, Kenya. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Are you ready for the biggest event of the year? The Council of Governors and its partners present the Devolution Conference 2023, happening from 15th to 19th August in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. The theme of the conference is 10 years of devolution, the present and the future, and the sub-theme, driving transformation from the local level, county governments at the center of economic development. Over the years, we've brought together local and international delegates to discuss best practices and strategies to foster improved service delivery in devolved sectors and further drive change in subnational governments. The sectors to be covered include healthcare, agriculture, trade development and industrialization, blue economy, natural resource management, affordable housing, the digital economy and integration of technology,